His hair is absolutely incredible. Like, what is actually going on here? This calic. One time I went to the barber and they're like, you literally have 4 calics. You have one here, here, back here, and back here. What do you want me to do for you? I cannot make this look good. But this one right here is the main culprit. So, it creates some very odd things. So, welcome into Record-ology Live, my friends. So glad it's you and me again. We're here to just have some fun, shoot the breeze. So far, if you're watching this, you're watching the replay because nobody's... Okay, there we got 2 people. I was just going to say, don't forget to what am I saying? Don't forget to join us next time we go live if you missed this. And I get it. This is in the evening. It's 8:17 p.m. here in Orlando. And so that may not be the best time for you wherever you're at. But I do appreciate you watching either the replay or live. To those of you who are joining us live or not, I appreciate you more than you could ever imagine. Old Radios, welcome in. WHHS Entertainment just made it. Olivia, do you remember me? No, I do not. Gold Boy, hey. Timothy, I saw the Beatles in the title. Had to show up. Good. I've hooked you in. I'm going to reel you in. I've got a lot of cool Beatles stuff. We got a lot of stuff, and it's all Beatles to go over. We're doing a giveaway, free records. They're not Beatles. Let me just tell you that right now. I wanted to make sure that was very clear. I have a record haul of Beatles stuff, and I'm giving away non-Beatles stuff for free. It's trying to keep those two separate. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to explain that. So, Old Radio is going to shoot some 16 millimeter film. That sounds fun and expensive. Hoopster Dog, welcome in. Jerry, welcome in. Jerry says, love free stuff. So do I. Who doesn't? Who doesn't love free stuff? So we're going to do some fun. Rather than give away single records tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to put together a box. And it's going to be a mystery box to you. They are used records, but they're not going to be trash. They're going to be good. I have a sizable stack of records, giveaway records that I sort of accumulate at all times. Sometimes it's just stuff that I receive that isn't the best for me, but I know other people would love. And sometimes we go out and buy records specifically for the purpose of giving them away. Sometimes we buy grab bags. And I don't remember, this is a pretty hefty stack of records that we have. But we are going to be loading up a mailer. This is really for effect. There's actually nothing in this. Okay, I probably should have said that. This is an empty one, but it's for effect. I'm like, I need to have something to show. But it's going to be something like this. I have a stack of new mailers. We're going to load up a mailer. Not sure how many records. We're going to cram a bunch of records in there. And it's going to one lucky person. And that person will be decided tonight, later in the show. So definitely don't let me end the live without doing that. Because I've also done that before, too. I've done live shows for giveaways and then forgotten to actually give anything away. So welcome in. Lori, welcome in. Weird Spins, welcome in. Marcus, welcome in. Recently picked up Glenn Miller Volume 2 second pressing at Goodwill. Good shape for $8. That's a great haul. Jeremy, welcome in. Music Talk with John, welcome in. Yeah, I saw, not too long ago, I was somewhere, I think down in Lakeland, and I found I think it was Volume 2, or maybe it was Volume 1 second pressing. I think that's what it was. Volume 1 second pressing, the 5 LP one, and that was for a pretty good price, but I have like 3 versions of it, so I just didn't need another one. Welcome in, everybody. My dad is watching the Monkees. That's awesome. Mike, welcome in from Northern Colorado. Hey, I was your neighbor up until this last March, born and raised in Denver, Colorado, and then we made the crazy move to Florida. It's entertaining. We're having a good time. Very blessed, very different, very thankful, and enjoying every minute. It's been great. So a lot of people watched the show we posted. I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think we posted yesterday morning, and it's got, several thousand views by now, which is crazy. And it was reviewing all this hi-fi stuff, this like audiophile upgrade stuff from the Funk Firm. And it all started here on a live. I told this story in the video, but it got edited out. I decided it was getting too wordy. It's based on some feedback. We're going to look at some of you guys' feedback here in a little bit too. And one of the things that I told in that was that during a live, we were talking about platter mats. Somebody's like, you have to try this acro mat. It's like any other mat, unlike any other mat. And I actually have it within arm's reach. So I got a hold of one. I got a hold of an acro mat. And you guys said this is the ultimate mat. And it's expensive. It is expensive. Some people got after me on the video for saying it was on a budget, some of these upgrades, because they are pricey. But in the world of audiophile stuff where people are spending $150,000 on cabling and you know what I mean? Like in terms of like I keep saying hi-fi, but I mean audiophile, it's pennies on the dollar. Like these are affordable audiophile upgrades. They are still pricey, but they're not like you could do it, but it's like, would you rather just buy a new turntable or would you like to invest in the upgrades? That's the question. But this one is the Acro mat. And so I tried it out and contacted Funk Firm, and the owner is like, hey, we've got some other cool stuff. Do you want to demo this other stuff? I'm like, sure, I'll test it out. You know, it's really not, I actually kind of tried to talk him out of it. I'm like, we really aren't an audiophile channel. Like we don't have any problem with Crosley Cruisers. In fact, we use them. And he's like, no, it's good. This is actually good because he wants to capture all sides of the spectrum. And so I was really trying to find equipment good enough to use it on. And it came down to the PLX 500 or the SLB5. And there's others that would have worked, but there was still limitations. So if you haven't checked out that show, check it out. It was fun to put together. And the Acromat is kind of cool, though, because it's bonded to it's a very thick. It comes in different thicknesses. This is their top end one. I think I call it the APM. And it's bonded to a piece of glass. This is a substrate of solid glass. And then this, I don't think they disclose what it's made out of, but it's designed to mimic the chemical makeup of vinyl records. So I don't know if that means that it's pure PVC, just like a vinyl record, or what, because, and the reason why I'm not sure about that is they say that the surface is actually filled with millions of tiny air bubbles, and that the walls of those air bubbles are designed to absorb and all this stuff. So it all started with this heavy platter mat, and pretty soon we are looking at multiple products. So yeah, go check out that show if you haven't done it already. It's been pretty successful, and it's been a lot of fun. So let me get caught up on comments here. I'll show you my haul. Had a very successful day record hunting. And we'll do the giveaway a little bit later. I've got a surprise for you guys. And I'm trying to think of what else. Anything else you guys want to talk about? I've been on a Rivermont Records kick as of late. Have you thought about checking out their music? Tell me about it. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar, so tell me about it. Jerry says, Goodwill in my area is selling all media for 25 cents. Blu-ray, CD, cassette, LPs. That reminds me, it's so off and on with Goodwill because sometimes the Goodwill prices are ridiculous. They're charging like $4 for like a cheap record, and sometimes you find these killer deals. And I don't know if Tim Allen is on yet. I hope he joins. But he's got this thrift store in his area. I don't know if it's Goodwill. But they have like 20-cent records, and they're good ones too. Like like these aren't just like Jim Neighbors and things. It's not to say Jim Neighbors isn't great. We used it as a test record recently, but you know what I mean. It's not the typical Mitch Miller sing-alongs, which I also like. Mitch, I like Mitch. Nothing, no shade against Mitch, but you know what I mean. It's not typical, Goodwill record material, and he's getting them for 20 cents a piece. But the best deal, one of the best deals I ever got at a thrift store on media, was I got a box set of Star Wars. We're somewhere down there on that shelf. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Star Wars. It was episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on Blu-ray. A box set, episodes 1 through 6 on Blu-ray for $1.75. And I don't know if it was a mistake. And I checked, and they're like, no, that's the price. And that, okay, that was sell. And yes, I've got Disney Plus, so I could stream those. But there's something about physical media, you guys. Absolutely. No room in my budget for more records since I'm trying to get an M2 Mac. Understandable, and that sounds like a interesting project for you. September, big swap meet month. That's cool. Hank, welcome in. Got Enoch Light. Oh, and Enoch Light stuff is so good and so copyright friendly on YouTube. I love it. It's really dynamic audio, and it works good for test materials. My camera like abnormally high. don't want you to miss any details of my monster calic. I'm using my Bolex camera to shoot the footage. That's awesome. That'll be a fun project. Enoch Light is pretty decent. Yeah, we love Enoch Light. It's good stuff. Primary focus on Rivermont Records has been 1920s and 30s themed music. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to have to check that out. I love that stuff. Al Hurt. Yes, another staple of the thrift store. Man, this thing, I can't comb it out. It's just not going away. Come on now. No, it's just going to stand up like that. Okay. Man, I wish I had a hat around here. Okay. Anyway, I'm good. Everything's good. Marcus says, I got volume 1 on eBay to complete the set. Love the music. Comes with the original shipping box from Marche. Wow. Timothy says, my area thrift stores do a red, white, blue, or green days for getting 50% off. You know, about a year ago, they started asking me if I wanted the senior discount. And I'm like, partially offended because I feel like I'm way too young for that. On the other hand, I'm like, how much of a discount? Hey, free's free. I'm never going to see you again. You know what I mean? Hank, I'm trying to find Future Sound Shock. Yes, and that was my gateway into Enoch Light as well. My first copy was given to me by fellow YouTuber and friend Fardamark, and he sent me the quad disc version, which had some the label had some damage, but the disc was in mint condition. And even though it was quad and I don't have a quad decoder, it still sounded like a mint copy, a stereo copy as well. And they're just so dynamic and good for testing. And I know people are sick of me using that record, but it works so good. Jeremy says, my budget is next to none, but I did get a sealed copy of Thomas Dolby's Alien 8 My Buick for $10 next month. My budget will be $10 as well. Respect. I think that's awesome. My budget today was $30, and I haven't spent that much money on records in a while. So it was really nice to go out and, $30 will buy you one new record or multiple used things. So I always prefer actually used records is always the way I prefer to go. So I totally get that. Totally respect that. Jerry says Disney Movie Club is a great place to get rare Blu-rays. Actually got both for Escape and Return to Witch Mountains. You know what? The rare Disney movie I would like to have, and it's not on Disney Plus, is the Hardy Boys series, which was a serial they ran as a part of the Mickey Mouse Club. I have watched Spin and Marty, which was sort of the sequel that they ran, and it's very good. It is on, or was on Disney Plus. But yeah, interesting. Mine was something about movie themes of the 70s. That's cool. Maximo says, hello, Record-ology. I'm sure that is Pioneer PLX 500. Yeah, you got it. Would you kindly recommend what kind of stylus for my unit? If you have the same one as me, right now I've got a Sumiko Black Pearl. It's like a $100 cartridge. It is one of my favorites in that price range. Absolutely phenomenal. If I'm not running the Sumiko lately, I've been running this guy right here, which may not look familiar right off the bat, but it's actually just a common AT3600L with an upgraded stylus for playing 78s, because that is 3 speeds, as you know. It makes it great for playing 78s, but you got to get the wide groove stylus, and just makes them sound fantastic. And yes, I know 3600 is a stereo cartridge, and ultimately you want to be playing 78s with a mono cartridge, but at the same time, it still sounds really good. Absolutely. Mark, welcome in, my friend. Mark, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm so glad you're here. We were just talking earlier today. There's been some regulars that we haven't seen in a while, so I'm glad you're here. Old Radio's, his version of Mana was good. Mana, do, 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 do. Mana, do, 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 do. Do you have any tips for finding a good used record player? Oh, man, we've got tips. We've been doing that a lot on this channel. Definitely check out those videos. Off the top of my head, I think the best way to get used turntables is just to obsessively keep your eye on the electronics section on Craigslist and the marketplace tab on Facebook. Those are the two best. I don't buy turntables on eBay. I don't buy them on Mercari. I buy music there, but in terms of turntables, I usually go for local. Keep an eye out, see what's available. And you can get some really good deals. Thrift stores, they have a network of thrift stores in your area, and just make the rounds once a week and check it out. And I guarantee you, between all of those, you will find something that's a really good deal probably within a week or two. Not that hard. Absolutely. Speaking of sealed records, I got Queen. Awesome. Sealed CDs. I got Queen. That's awesome. Remember Spin on Marty on Vault Disney? Yep. Almost 3 years, and I still haven't got a replacement 78 stylus. Wow. Stylus I broke. Well, tell me about it. I've got my, where is it? I still have it. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. So this is my ultimate 78 stylus. Sorry, my long fingernails. This is the Audiophile OM78. 2M78? OM78? 2M78. Audiophile 2M78. It's the same body as the Audiophile 2M red or 2M blue, but it's a mono cartridge, a proper mono cartridge. Problem is the stylus housing, which is the whole gray part, is a very expensive replacement. You can see the generator is actually pretty small. It's smaller than a 3600. This whole thing is the thing. So ultimately, I need to get this replaced, but it's too costly to do right now. So in the meantime, we're rocking the cheaper to me 3600 that I already had, and then I paid like $15 for a Pickering. Is it Pickering? I think is it Pickering? I'm not sure what brand, but the stylus that I bought there. So I want to get this guy up and running someday because it's like literally designed for mono 78s, and this is very similar to the mono cartridge they designed for the Beatles mono box set. Audiophile literally purpose-built a 2M series mono microline microgroove cartridge and stylus combo for that Beatles mono box set. This is similar to that. You could probably get the stylus replacement and make that the same stylus. But yeah, that's what I'm rocking over there. Yes, indeed. Hey, the family dad, welcome in. No worries, we just got started a few minutes ago. Trying to get caught up on these. I collect CDs from the thrift stores. Yeah, me too. Love CDs from the thrift. Always on the lookout for Star Trek CDs, Star Wars CDs, Disney soundtrack CDs, now Beatles CDs, Patsy Cline CDs, Glenn Miller sometimes, if it's something I don't already have. Old radios. I want to get that Columbia record player from 1954 restored with a GE cartridge. That'd be cool. Mark says, hey, Record-ology, what RCA boxed vinyl record sets, if any, do you own? Boxed record. Well, I have 3 different variants of the Glenn Miller limited edition volume 1. I have 2 of the not the box, but the padded kind of binder versions of volume 2. I've got a padded binder version of the Army Air Force one, and yeah, I've got some box sets. It depends on what you mean by box sets too. Because like this is not a box set, but it's an album set. You know how many records are in this bad boy? None. This was given to me by one of you guys, and it's like in mint condition, nearly. I mean, it's close. And I have this on 45. I did that big Glenn Miller record haul recently, and I forgot like a good handful of stuff. But box sets from RCA, I've got a handful of others. I've got some custom put together ones. I've got some other album box sets. I have to see. That's a good question, though. It's a really good question. Old radios, I only replace the motor mounting grommets. Oh. That sounds like a cool project, that Columbia, though. WHHS says, since I've brought up 1920s, 1930s theme music, an artist I've recently started listening to was Alex Mendham. Yes, he's great. That guy's awesome. Yes, Alex Mendham is amazing out of the UK. He really captures that 20s big band sound. I love it. Love, love, love his stuff. Family dad agreed on tips for finding used equipment. Best tools, patience. Yeah, it will come to you. I got the 78s of the era. Very cool. Joe, welcome in a few months ago. Letty asked me if I collected records. I said, yes, I do. She showed up with 2 carloads of classic country from the 60s and 70s, thousands of them. She was, okay, my friend Joe, my new best friend Joe. Joe. Look, yours truly is a Patsy Cline collector. And if you have any Patsy Cline in there, contact me. Let me know what you have. Send me pictures. Email me. Record-ology1938@gmail.com. Old Radio says, semi-play on vintage machines is not too rare or valuable. That's cool. I've heard of these people getting these like, congratulations, by the way. That's an amazing thing. I've heard about people getting these truckloads. I can't even imagine. Timothy says, I have enough 78 stylists for the new millennium. When you have a BSR, a double. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Let me get caught up, and then we're going to do the haul. I almost always find CD. We got free records coming in a minute. Again, for visual effects, it's empty box, which represents a full box that will be sent out to one lucky viewer. Yep. Okay. Jawa, I'm a new viewer. Welcome in. So glad you're here. Thanks for your videos on the LP60X. Yes, I got one and upgraded it with my new stylus and belt mat. Great to get into vinyl. Oh, you picked a great turntable to do it with too. That's excellent. That's good. Good job. And welcome in. Can you please do a Glenn Miller CD and tape collection video? Yes, I need to do that. Yes. In fact, I was going through some of that today. I will definitely do that. Goldboy says, I almost always find CDs from either the Police or Billy Joel whenever I go to a thrift store. Every time I see Billy Joel now, I think of Billy Joel, thanks to Jim Gaffigan. Do you know how many records you have in your collection? I do not. I have not counted them. I have not. There's a lot. There's probably more than I need. When I pitched this idea to my wife, my beautiful, loving, so kind and so generous wife, I pitched the idea of records and I said, imagine one record, maybe this month, not to replace my music collection, but just to augment it. And now crates and crates and crates. And the crates are reproducing. More crates show up and more crates. And I get a new crate and it gets filled in a new crate. This is getting out of control. There's plenty of records around here. There is. But it's, seriously speaking, it's pretty tame compared to, like, it would probably surprise people how not ridiculous it is. Like, this isn't one of these. I've got aisles and aisles of sliding racks kind of a thing. Jerry says, my library gives away stacks of CDs for donations. Wow. For a quarter, you can get a full bag of CDs, Blu-ray discs, DVDs. One trip to the library netted me Raiders of the Lost Ark CD. Okay, where do you live? I'm going to have to move there next. Mark says, what 8 tracks, if any, do you own that includes the same song or track put on the tape twice? The same song on the track twice. I don't know. That's a good question. I did slim down my 8-track tape collection when we moved from Colorado. I kept only my favorites, and I still have quite a few, but I don't know. I'd have to go through and look at them in detail. Same song on the same tape twice. Timothy says, oh, he's talking to Mark. Says Burmese colored needle. Okay, great. We're going to talk about the haul now. Okay, I'm looking away from the chat for a little bit. So if I don't see your comment, please forgive me. I'm going to try and get back to all of them. We are collectors. We never have enough. I have CDs and LPs that I'll probably haven't listened to for over a decade, but I'm not getting rid of them. I understand what you mean. Okay, so just for a quick recap for people that don't know already, I was not a huge Beatles fan prior to about 3 months ago. And then all of a sudden I decided I wanted to go from kind of greatest hits fan, which I'd been forever. I had the one album. When I was a teenager, I had some CDs, which I had sold off at some point, which now I regret doing that. But everything I needed to hear Beatles-wise was on the one album, and I would listen to it infrequently. But something snapped, and I just became interested in the Beatles again, and I'm kind of deep diving. So I've been collecting a collection out of thin air, and I've got a lot of interesting pieces now, including talking about 8-track tapes. I've got the Red Album, parts 1 and 2. Part 2 I had, and part 1 was given to me by one of you guys. It was a wonderful gift from a viewer. Then I went to a record show a few months ago, and I saw so much Beatles albums. I didn't know what was what. I didn't know anything at the time about the U.S. versus the U.K. albums, any of that stuff. The desirable ones, the least, the Capitol versus the Parlophone versus any of that stuff. And I came away with nothing except for a couple singles on 45. I've got a handful of 45 singles as well. And I'm like, I came on here with you guys. I'm like, look, people, please help me. I'm a newbie in the Beatles world. Where do I start? And you guys are like, okay, here's what you do. Just start with the red and blue albums. So I did. And they're like, you'll probably want to, and I thought that would be enough. I predicted at the time, that's all I need. That's fine. That's the next level from like one greatest hits album is two greatest hits albums. You have pretty much everything I'd ever want. And then pretty soon I watched the Get Back documentary on Disney Plus. And by the way, I keep saying Disney Plus. They're not even an advertiser. I'm not saying it anymore on this show. But anyway, on some streaming platform, I watched Get Back. And I'm like, well, now I've got to have Let It Be. And then I'm like, and I specifically want Let It Be Naked because I understand that that's more of what I was hearing in that documentary. And then I'm like, well, now I've got, all these and I'm kind of interested. And then Father's Day came and I was gifted by my wonderful wife so many more LPs that it really jump-started the collection. And then I was on I couldn't stop at that point. So that's where it was at. And I've done some videos if you want to go back and see those Beatles those Beatles Haul videos. I got a bootleg. I got some cool stuff. And check that out if you haven't done so already. But today I went to a record shop I haven't been to since Record Store Day, and that's East West Records in Orlando. And I was looking for as much as I could get for $30. That was my budget, $30. I wasn't sure, and it's a smaller store. So I'm like, will they not have any because it's so popular they can't keep it in stock? Or will they have a lot because it's a popular artist that they try to keep in stock? I wasn't sure. Luckily, they had quite a bit of stuff, and specifically CDs. I do have one vinyl record. The rest is CDs. I love CDs if you haven't noticed already. So I picked that stuff up, and I wanted to show you what my haul consisted of. And before I jump into it, I want to read through these one more time. Are you counting when they split songs? Oh, I get it. Timothy, he was saying about split songs. I'm sure there is. Absolutely. Yes. Okay, that's what you mean. Yeah. I'm a fan of your program, which encouraged me to start restoring my BSR. Yes, that's great, Maximo. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, this is one I picked up today. And I got all this for 30. I think I went over. like $5. But I got a couple really good deals on stuff I want to tell you about. But East West Records is really cool. This is Anthology 3, the third of the 3-part set from 95, 96. And it's full of alternate takes, demos, and things of that nature on these really cool Apple imprinted discs. Good, thick booklet, 2-disc set. I love the artwork, and I love the fact that on the back, it looks like the back of a canvas. So, yeah, these are all alternate tags. These are all alternate takes. And I think I had volume 2 when I was into this fairly 6-month short-lived Beatles phase as a teenager. And I remember I had Eleanor Rigby, so I think that would be Anthology 2. But I, again, really have discovered that my favorite Beatles era is the end. I really, really like Let It Be. I really like Abbey Road. And I like all of it, but I think my preference are kind of the later half. So I like the Blue album more than the Red album. But yeah, so I picked this up and I paid $7.99 for it. I love how record stores also sometimes say the date that it was, in inventory. So it's been here since December, or been there since December of 2020. And I bought it for $7.99, 2-disc set, perfect condition. Yeah. And I would love to get the other 2 as well, because I like the alternate versions. And I know they have the box sets that Apple's been releasing the last few years, where there has even more behind the scenes outtakes and things. And I just love that. So, okay, got that. Next up, and this is not necessarily in the order I picked it up, but it's the order I'm saying it. I picked up the White Album, or the Beatles. Again, a 2-disc set, and I paid $1 more for this one, I think. $8.99, as you can see. $8.99, been here since August 3rd, so this one hasn't been in the inventory long. Again, 2-disc set. Now, I watch, these are Parlophone Capital discs. One thing that I have been using as a tool, again, recommended by you guys to learn, it has been the Parlogram Auctions YouTube channel. In fact, we featured him on the show a while back. He verified our bootleg was really a bootleg. But I've watched his video on the compact discs, and I understand when it comes to the albums that the first run 1987 issue CDs are less desirable because apparently they dubbed mono tapes using a stereo tape deck, which causes some azimuth, phantom azimuth effect. So, but I don't know if this is the 87 issue. Maybe you guys can let me know. It's got some like fingernail polish stained on there, but it, I don't know. It doesn't say 89 on there. It's just got the original 1968 copyright or whatever on there. But so yeah, it comes with a pretty hefty booklet, and that's what the disc looks like. This doesn't look like a lot of the other 87 records. And we're going to look at another one here in a minute that I know is an 87 because it's got the frosted white back with the black ink. Hey, Greg, welcome in. My white album was stolen from me. Goldboy says my dad really likes a white album. What records are we giving away? Stay tuned. Are you a His Master's Voice collector? Yeah, when I can. I have a couple that have been gifted to me, some HMV records. Good beginner receiver for playing back turntable audio. Hey, Record-ology, we have all three sealed. Sorry if I'm falling behind on comments, guys. I'm trying to do this and keep an eye on this at the same time. Audiophiles get very persnickety. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm learning. I remember during the early days of CDs, anything marked DDD always had a problem with sim balance. Is that what that kind of effect was? That azimuth, that phantom azimuth effect? I would check Discogs with the barcode. Timothy says it's a good idea. So anyway, $8.99 for that. August 3rd is when it was in the inventory. To my ears, it sounds really good. Yeah, so that I picked up this. Not my absolute favorite Beatles album. I like Obla Di Obla Da. I'm learning, so I'll discover one that I may even already have and then latch onto that. But so far, at this point in time, this isn't my number one by any means, but it's one that I wanted to get because it's near the end and it is an important. I wanted to get all of them eventually. Let's see, Blackbird, Piggies. I love those two songs. There's a lot of great stuff on here. The ones they're sticking out to me. Revolution 9 is an interesting song. But yeah, there's some great songs on here, but not all of my favorites. Wild Honey Pie. It's a good one. Current go-to record. We'll get to that in a minute because it comes up here. What's my favorite Beatles album? Stand By, I'll tell you. I have the 98 White Album CD reissue. Maybe this is the 98. But if it was 98, it would have like apple.com on here, and it doesn't. I'm thinking this is the 87. Is this 87? Do you guys think? Does that look 87-ish to you? I can't tell. Oh, yeah. By the way, for fun, I thought I would share with you this disgusting beverage, black olive soda. I'm going to drink it. I've done these goofy sodas before. There's this company that it's called Rocket Fizz, and they make and sell disgusting sodas. I think we've done mustard soda. And so I saw this and I'm like, you know what? That would be a fun one to try. So Lester's Fixins. Exactly. Lester's Fixins. This is not going to be good. It just tastes like sweet, like unidentified sweet. Just gross sweet. We'll get back to that in a minute. Yeah, thumbs up would be appreciated. Thank you so much. First time I've heard of this. So yeah, check out Rocket Fizz. Check out Lester's Fixins. There's a company that makes most of these. They make the weirdest stuff. Bacon flavored soda. I had one once. It was like a blackberry pie. Some of them were good. Some of them were disgusting. Ranch dressing flavored soda. And it's kind of like a funny, like teenagers love this stuff. Like, oh, I dare you to drink that. That's gross. Timothy says, Simbalance is that harsh S sounds. Oh, Simbalance. Yeah, that's what I didn't read it right. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, interesting. I didn't know the DDD recordings were like that. Is there's an apple in the upper right corner? Yes, there is. Yeah, check that out. Thank you for doing that. That looks like a 1987 reissue. Mine has a cardboard sleeve. Apple pie flavored for the Beatles. Yeah. White album on vinyl for my birthday. I'm glad I have it. Yeah. Should you put that drink on ice? It was in the fridge. It grows warm. One of the CDs from the library was a Beatles anthology disc. CDs. And you can get the anthologies on vinyl, but be prepared to pay hundreds of dollars. Very expensive. I would love to eventually have one of the box sets, but in the meantime, I'm going to piecemeal this thing together and be very happy for it. Jeremy says 88 CD does not have a barcode in the corner, Jeremy says. Oh, okay. Is that the case with all of them? So this is not the 88. What is it then? Okay, now it's a mission. It's a discovery mission. Who can figure it out? Here's the inside pamphlet. It's got the old school compact disc. Should be treated like a normal record thing in there. I looked through this quickly earlier. I didn't see anything. Copyright 1968, Northern Songs Limited. Copyright 1968, Harris Songs. Copyright 1968, Sterling. Startling? Yeah, there's nothing else. There's no other date. Let me look at the disc. 1968. Manufactured by Capitol Records, made in the U.S. Parallelogram, Capitol Records. Might be Giant's Spine. Interesting. For Beatles music, do you prefer Capitol, Apple, or Parlophone? For the vinyl records, the really thick 180-gram Parlophone ones sound amazing to me. Although somebody told me the Capitol version of Rubber Soul is the best version of that. So I'm learning all this stuff still. Just bought Sgt. Pepper on vinyl from Guitar Center on Wednesday. That's cool. Was it the picture disc? I would totally go for that picture disc. That's cool. I'm not into CDs like that, says Sup of Friends. I'd rather the vinyl. Hello, everybody. Good day. Welcome in, my friend, by the way. Timothy says there's a new single coming out that was scheduled to be, yes, on Anthology 3 and never did. Yeah, and I can't wait for that. Eric, welcome in. One of the few, I guess, but I'm just not really a fan of the Beatles. I was not really a huge fan either. I just kind of got sucked into it. Jeremy, I got 2 brand new copies of Jared Grisham's voice from the Biloxi. Awesome. It's the 92 version, Jeremy. Thank you so much for helping me track that down. I appreciate it. Did they do all of them in 92? That's the way the original double CD was in 87. Hello from Melbourne, Florida. Jose, you're not very far away. Old Radios, Beach Boys, Record-ology, YouTube videos are awesome, my friend. Thank you, Greg. It's a picture vinyl. Yes, those are cool. And they sound good. I don't care what people say. Still waiting for my record player. I have several Beatles CDs. Good copy. Very expensive. I also got Pink Floyd The Wall. The whole Beatles mono versus thing, I've read it. I get both sides. And right now, this moment, I seem to like the stereo. I do seem to like the stereo. Okay, next thing I got today. Next thing I got was what is, I would say, my time tied with Let It Be album of the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's. And this cover is real trippy. I mean, the more you look at it, the weirder things you find. And this is 1967. It says on the back. Also has a barcode. Does that mean it's 92 as well? This disc looks more like the 87 ones where it's just reflective with the print on it. But I don't know. I don't know if that is or not. It's got a very thick pamphlet. Very thick pamphlet, including cutout information about the original cutouts that were in here. Lots of versions of this photo shoot. Very iconic photo shoot, different versions of it. This is really cool. It has a guide to help you identify what you're seeing on the cover, which is really, really cool. So not a bad find. I paid $6.99 for this. It's only been there since August 3rd. Okay, keep in mind I got all so far. It's been these 3, and my budget was $30, and I've got a couple more things. So far so good. Next, I picked up Let It Be. And again, I had this, but what I had was the 2003 reissue, Let It Be Naked. So I already had this, and today I picked up this. I like this, the more acoustic, the version with all the Phil Spector stuff removed, more like unplugged in the studio version of what was created. And it sounds to me like what you hear in the Get Back documentary, featured on a streaming service that will not be named again. And it's a 2-disc set, very expensive on vinyl, but very affordable on eBay, so on CD. So I got this one, and I think it cost me like $5. So I love the look of it too. It looks like a film reel there, and then on this one, it's a film strip. And the movie, the Let It Be movie and Get Back documentary, were shot on 16 millimeter, which I think is really cool. So what they did is they basically tweaked it. The program is different. So it's got a couple different songs on the naked version versus the regular version. And then like I said, the audio is different. It's mixed completely different. All the Phil Spector wall of sound stuff is removed. And but I was gonna say they stripped off the second disc is all of the studio chatter of the guys talking to each other, and the songs are just played on disc 1. So disc 1 is the songs without the studio chatter, and disc 2 is all the studio chatter. So I wanted to pick up the original Phil Spector version for $5.99. Been there since August 3rd, and this I'm pretty sure is now I'm questioning things. Is this the 87 version? Because didn't the 87 version have like hollow square track markers on the disc? This also has a barcode. That's why I'm wondering. You guys will have to help me date this one as well. I'll look at the comments in a second here. Okay, hold on a second. Got messages coming in. Having a lot of fun. Okay. Olive drink. Oh, it's just like molasses sweet. It doesn't taste like olives, which is a good thing, I think. That's the 87 reissue. Timothy says, I remember once the anthology series came out. Is the film worth watching too? The film of anthology? I haven't seen that. Started placing the Parlophone logo on the newer CDs. Oh, that's interesting. You did get a great haul. Yeah, it was good, and it's not over yet. I got one more thing. The last thing is a vinyl record. Did you get any of the weird VJ compilations or cover bands like the Bugs or the Manchesters? No, I do not. Finley's Audio Adventures. Welcome in. Random story about CDs. I used to shop Virgin Megastore. Oh, I miss Virgin Megastore. We had one. My chair is sinking again. We had one in Denver on the 16th Street Mall. They had a big band section that would rival the complete CDs volume of CDs offered at most stores back in the late 90s. They had so much obscure big band CDs. It was like heaven. I used to go down there and pick out something that was so much fun. But yes, I remember Virgin Megastore. Early big band and swing music. There you go. I didn't even get to that part in your comment, and that's exactly where you were going. The CDs were cheap. Most of them came out on Bluebird label, and for some reason, they packaged them. Yes, I remember it. I wish I could go back in time. I didn't know that we were living in a bubble for, this is Calic, that we were living in a bubble for physical media at the time. I didn't know that it was going away. I didn't know that the streaming thing would kill off record stores or CD music stores, period, and I want to go buy copies of things. Being able to stream anything instantly is fine, but at the same time, it's unfulfilling to the music lover in a lot of ways. I like the liner notes. I like to collect. I like to acquire. These are all things that my wife wish I didn't do. Actually, she's incredibly supportive, incredibly. But at the same time, we are wired differently. Thank God for that. I miss the days of the Virgin Megastore's big band. Oh, it was incredible. What city did you have yours in? poorly, and the discs were off the support ring and rattle. Oh, they were packaged poorly, you said. Yeah, that did happen sometimes. I have the same version of the White Album and Sgt. Pepper's. Interesting. What about groups that sound like them, like the Knickerbockers? In terms of Klaatu, etc., I haven't gotten that far into it yet, but I do know that the Analogs are incredible. There's a band of, I think, Taiwanese people that have an incredible act recreating Beatles songs with incredible accuracy. The Fab Four is an incredible group as well. George says, I had a 1981 purple label dome capital label copy of Sgt. Pepper's album in 1982. Woolco. Wow, remember Woolco? Yeah. Lost it a few months later. Oh, that's terrible. Looks like the 87 on Let It Be. Okay, so we think this is the 87 version. It does have the Apple Records logo on the disc. The copyright stuff says 1970. And on the back, this is a new phase Beatles album, as reproduced for disc by Phil Spector. 1970 EMI Records Limited. It's got a Parlophone, an Apple Records logo, and at the very bottom says manufactured by Capitol. And again, I had Let It Be Naked. If I had to desert island moment decision, I would pick this one. It's my favorite. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And it sounds more like the Rooftop concert, which, if you don't know, wow, 48 people in here. Thank you, guys. I appreciate this. If you're a Beatles fan and you like Let It Be and you like to listen to more, maybe something you haven't heard yet, the Rooftop concert, and I know that this is taken from some stuff recorded down in the Apple basement, some stuff recorded on the roof, like half takes here and there. And there was some studio stuff done as well. If you like what you heard and saw on Let It Be, and you like this, because this is pretty much the Let It Be, on Get Back, and this is pretty much the Get Back soundtrack. There is an actual Rooftop concert Get Back soundtrack available exclusively. In fact, I'll show you on my phone. Exclusively on Apple Music. If you have Apple Music, it's the only place that they've made it available. And I hope that they do a disc version of it. But this is the, let's see if the camera adjusts. That is the exclusive. And it's in Dolby Atmos. So you put on good headphones that are wired to an Apple device, or I think there's some Bluetooth codecs 5 with an aptX codec that can do it. And you get the Dolby surround, not even surround, it's Dolby Atmos. So it's like around, above, below. And they actually, when you submit as a producer of music to Apple Music or other high-end streamers that do lossless streaming, you provide the individual tracks. Like they literally are provided the individualized tracks, not the final mix. They are provided the individual tracks and then the data to reconstruct them. So the Atmos software is literally constructing the surround scope around your head. And I can tell you that it's insane. It's so immersive. It's so spatial. And there is categories of Dolby Atmos spatial, Dolby lossless, Apple lossless, all this stuff. But if you get the spatial or the Dolby Atmos, some of the stuff is tracked so specific to a location that you'll be like, what, where is this coming from? Like you'll hear instruments around you. It's insane. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. So check that out. That album is only available right now streaming. I should just cut this off. That seems too long. I probably shouldn't. Kind of feel like I should cut that off. It's driving me nuts. Okay. We get caught up on comments. We're going to show the last thing I picked up in my haul, and then we're going to do a record giveaway. Got a box of free records, and you can win. Stay tuned. I'm also drinking the disgusting soda for fun. Hanging out with you, my friend. Ooh, that's gross. Here on a Saturday night in Orlando, Florida. Question. I'm new to stereo systems. I was wondering if my amp receiver wattage should match my speakers. So I'm not an expert. Let me say that ahead of time. I also don't use passive speakers with a amplifier. I use active speakers with built-in amplifiers. So I'm feeding my speakers line level RCA connections. That being said, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, that you should feed your speakers definitely no more than the wattage coming out of your out of the amplifier. So if you have 100-watt speakers, you wouldn't want to be feeding it 125-watt signal coming from an amplifier. However, I have been told that even if you do that, you still can use them, but you can only turn the volume up a little bit without blowing them out. So I would be very nervous to do that. I had to do that once and I felt very uncomfortable about it. But ideally, if you have 100-watt speakers, get an 80-watt amp and then you've got territory. The downside is it'll take, if you are running a lower wattage amplifier with higher wattage speakers, you may have to turn the volume on your amplifier up higher to get enough sound pressure. Super Prince, I do miss going to the record store to buy vinyl records. It's horrible. We cannot have a decent record store to actually buy records. Yeah, I know it's tough. And I saw the strange video that my contemporary Vinylize made about the record store in Colorado. And I only say it's strange because he's in Texas. I was surprised he knew about the record store closing in Colorado Springs. But yeah, absolutely. Finley's Audio Adventure says picked up George Harrison's Cloud 9. That's cool. Finley's Audio Adventures also says, oh, I also remember making a custom mixtape on the Personic system at the warehouse. That's cool. That's really, really neat. Greg, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Jose, I guess I'm getting old. I used to shop at Specs. I don't remember that. I don't even remember hearing of that one. What era is that? Family Dad, Let It Be Naked sounds like an interesting album, to say the least. I highly, highly recommend it. It's like the acoustic, unplugged version of the regular Let It Be. And when Paul McCartney was producing this, he changed the track listing a little bit. So check this out. Sometimes the compression ruins this, but if you can see, there's a little bit different track listing. There's one less song. Yeah. So do check that out if you're interested. It's a great album. Got the Cloud 9 album from Walmart online for an extremely good price. Have you seen the Ruddles? I've seen little clips here and there. The ohm should, yes. Thank you. And that's why I preface by I'm not an expert. The impedance must be matched. If you mismatch your impedance, say goodbye to your speakers. Absolutely. I'm really behind on comments and I don't want to get stranded. So before I get caught up on those, when we do the giveaway, I want to show the last record that I got as a part of my haul. This is maybe surprising to you that I would pick this up. This is Double Fantasy, John Lennon and Yoko Ono, and 1980. I believe the last album released while he was alive, and really, really amazing music here. My favorite John Lennon solo song is on here, Beautiful Boy. I think that's just an incredible. I've had that in my head all day. So I picked this up. So I got. Let me see if I can do the in a couple hands here exactly what I got and what I paid total. So can I get this all without throwing it on the floor? Okay, I got all this for $34-ish. I think it's a pretty good haul. It definitely helps fill out the Beatles collection. So that's really, really good stuff. So what I wanted to tell you is initially this added up to about $30. So I went to the counter and I don't know why or how, but they said, hey, you've got an instant $5 coupon. And this I had seen but didn't pick up, and it was like $6. I'm like, great. Now I can afford within my budget to get this. So I went back and grabbed this and rang it up because it was, oh yeah, it had shrink wrap. I took it off. That's where the price tag was. It's in great condition, by the way. I went and brought up to the counter $6, and I got another instant $5 off coupon. So I paid $1 for this. Isn't that good? That's a great deal from a record store, like a well-known record in perfect condition for $1. That was a good haul. I think that was a really good haul. I felt very satisfied. It was a lot of fun. And we are going to do next the free record giveaway once I get the comments plowed through. And it's going to be a trivia question. And you can use Google, you can use AI, you can use anything you want. It's going to be a trivia question that anybody can get the answer to. And if you get that trivia question right, you need to email your answer to Record-ology1938@gmail.com. Not put it in the comment. Please do not put the answer in the comment. Please don't put it in the comment. Email your answer when the time comes to Record-ology1938@gmail.com. And the first person with the correct answer is going to get a box full of records. Okay? Mystery records. Black olive soda. Would you guys try this? I don't know. Let me get caught up on comments and we'll do the giveaway. Paul McCartney hated the Phil Spector treatments on the Let It Be, especially his song Long and Winding Road. Yep. Finley's audio. I have a Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon. SACD. I've never got into SACD. I feel like that was such a small blip. There's a Patsy Cline Greatest Hits SACD that still sells for a lot of money. It's pretty amazing. I don't have an SACD player either. I think the easiest way to get an SACD player was to get a DVD player that also had that feature, but that's cool. Yeah, multi-channel, full studio resolution. I can imagine. Mark Covington says, how do you make a CD box set out of all 3 volumes of Beatles Anthology? How do you make a CD box set out of all 3 volumes? I mean, I would just need to get the other 2. So there's 3 volumes, as you probably know and do know. And this is part 3, 2-disc set. And I need part 1 and part 2. And these are cool. These are not, I would want to get the regular albums first because, you know, they have the finished songs, which I do prefer. But for instance, if I hone in, I was saying earlier, you guys were talking about favorite songs. A lot of my favorites are on Sgt. Pepper's. And I also have the cassette of this. A friend of mine gave me the cassette of this. Sgt. Pepper's is a great song. With a little help from my friends, Lucy in the Sky. I mean, these are Fixing a Hole. Simple song, but fantastically dynamic at the same time. I have been hyper obsessed over the Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite song, which, if you want to see something amazing, look at the analogs on YouTube performing for the benefit of Mr. Kite. Also, look at the recent video of McCartney doing it. Both are incredible. But a song like that I latch onto and I listen to obsessively, which I'll do for weeks on end. I'll listen to the same song. Not that that's all I listen to, but I will repeatedly listen to a song, and that's been one that over the last few weeks I've listened to over and over and over again to deconstruct it, to savor it. The idea of anthology becomes very cool because it has, you know, different versions of it or demo versions of it. And if you have the deluxe box set version of Let It Be, or the deluxe box set of any of these albums that has all the alternate takes and the mono takes and the stereo takes, you can find alternates, and it's really fun to do that. Let's see. When I'm 64, all this is stuff. Sgt. Pepper's Reprise, Day in the Life. Day in the Life is, again, deep song. Oh, interesting stuff. Sam Goodies. Yes, Jose, I remember Sam Goodies. Media Play. Remember Media Play? Goody got it. Yep. Here's where, when I went to Guitar Center, I needed an audio interface to digitize my vinyl. That's cool. So I bought, notice the Beatles vinyl and the Pink Floyd. Was the pricing good? I forget what did you tell me what the price was? Timothy says everyone I knew back in the day would go to NYC to the wall. Free Records Day. I want free records. Thank you so much, Greg. Appreciate it. Stereo system should not exceed marked wattage on speakers. Other way around is okay. The impedance must match. Yeah. Tim Allen, talking about you earlier. I'm glad you're here. Sorry I'm late on comments. In my opinion, nothing should be available only on streaming. Fair. And I wish if it's on disc, I'm getting it instantly. So I agree with you. Finley, if you overdrive the speakers too much, yeah, exactly. Sure, speakers impedance match. Here in Phoenix, we have quite a few record stores, and they're great. Which reminds me, I got an email that my Talking Heads Stop Making Sense is available for pickup. I remember the days of ordering an album or a book and waiting for it to show up. Okay, I need to get caught up on this so we can do this giveaway. Rice Cooker, A Record-ology, and Apple film. Beatles label soundtrack was issued on RCA. Ringo Starr was also in the movie. Oh, that's cool. The custom Rappel label. When accounting speakers, use the coconut salad. That's cool. Only Parlophone I have of them is rarities. Jose says specs were in the malls in Florida in the 90s. Interesting. My first trip to Florida was not 90. It was 2004 or 5 on a business trip. Spencer's Music Stores. Never heard of those either. Beautiful boy to my grandson. So that's cool, RC. That's great. Tim Allen, I find Let It Be Naked to lack spark and life. I much prefer the remixes from 2 years ago. Rice Cooker says Let It Be Naked has a stripped down version of Let It Be. The original was mixed by, and Let It Be is a good song, but it's not one of my top favorites. It was mixed down by Phil Spector and was ruined. The naked version was controlled by Paul McCartney, and there was a version he wanted. And that's what they say, is that the Let It Be Naked is the way it was originally intended to be. Apparently after the White Album beforehand, which was lavish and odd. And it's really interesting because, like, if I get any of this wrong, again, I'm just a newbie. I'm just learning. But if I remember my sequencing right, the lavishly decorated Sgt. Pepper's followed by the stark and empty void of the White Album. And from a musical standpoint, the highly produced and sound effect ridden White Album was followed up by what was intended to be a down-to-earth, stripped-down, unplugged, raw album, which is what this became. But Phil Spector turned it into a highly produced wall of sound thing. And like you were saying before, McCartney didn't like a lot of, specifically Long and Winding Road. So in 2003, McCartney reissues his own version. And I like this. Like I said, it sounds like the Get Back soundtrack. This sounds like what I heard in the rooftop concert. And I agree. That rooftop concert should be available on disc. I wish it was. But if you can't get it one way, at least you can get it on streaming. And it sounds fantastic in Dolby Atmos. Found a DVD at Dollar Tree called Sesame Street Shorts, something like that. A song called The Letter B with theme from Let It Be. That's interesting. Drink Moxie Soda. They had that too. The email is recordology1933@gmail.com. Old Radios never saw SACD before. Yeah, it's like a multi-track CD at 96 kilohertz. And I think it's 24-bit per channel. It's like crazy resolution. Super audio CD. And it was this thing in like the late 90s, early 2000s, short-lived. Gold CDs were a different thing. It was basically a different technology, the SACDs. They're backwards compatible, though. So they also have a track built into them that is regular CDA that's compatible with regular discs. Sony is part of the zone, great unreleased B-sides. SAC Super Audio CDs. Yep. Okay. So I'm just getting back to where. Hey, Mark, thanks for the super chat. You rock. You rock. Thank you so much, my friend. Super chats. Never expected. Always appreciated. Get to the free records, Recordology. Beatles are a deep, deep well to journey into. Yeah, and I'm learning that. When I digitize audio from my YouTube channel, I use a test cam. It's cool. I use the Zoom audio recorder. Vampire movie nipper with vampire teeth on an apple. Okay, time for free records. Here's how it's going to work again. Please do not put the answer, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Please don't put the answer in the chat, okay? Don't put the answer in the chat. What we're going to do is we are going to submit your answer via email, recordology1938@gmail.com. Be recordology1938@gmail.com, all one word, recordology1938@gmail.com. I'm going to put it down here. Please, no answers in the chat. Please email your answer to recordology1938@gmail.com. Okay? So if you would please adhere to that, I would appreciate it. This is open to people over the age of 18 only. 18 and over. And it's open globally, although it'll cost me a lot less to ship out of here in the US. But I'm not gonna limit it to the US. I'm gonna make this global. So anybody can win, and I hope that whoever wins enjoys it. It's a mystery box set, lovingly prepared by us for you. I'm not sure how many records, but it's going to be a box similar to this empty one I'm holding for display purposes only, and it's going to be full of records and maybe a couple surprises as well. There's one box we're giving away tonight, one box of multiple records. Hair, dude, it's driving me crazy. And the answer to the question emailed to recordology1938@gmail.com, along with your name and your mailing address. Have to include those. If I don't get your name and mailing address in the email as well, it don't count. I got to have your name, your email, and a correct answer. The first person to do that wins. Okay? And the question, first person that gets this right, following those rules, somebody's still going to put it in the comments. Don't do it. First person to give me this answer. Okay, we talked about this album before. But the question I want to ask you is, Double Fantasy 1980, John Lennon, Yoko Ono. The question is, what record label was this released on? What record label was this released on? All right? So submit your answer. The first person wins, not that record. They win a mystery box of other records. Okay? So let's see here. I'm going to go hop on over to the admin page on Record-ology email account, and we are going to peruse the answers as they start to tumble in. Dun, 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 dun. First right answer wins. Okay, we have a winner. The first person that got it right and included the right information is Jeremy. Jeremy, you won, my friend. You are the winner of a free box full of records. I'm not sure how many we're going to be able to cram in the box, or if it's going to even be this one. It's going to be more than one in less than 50. It's not going to be that many. It's going to be, I don't know if we get 5 or 6 in there. I don't know. We'll see. But we're going to cram it as full as we can, full of records, and send it to you. I'm going to write this down so I don't forget who won. And everybody else, I want you to hang out for a second because I've got something to tell you. So congratulations, Jeremy. I appreciate it. Congratulations to everybody. Did somebody put it in here? Super Prince, what are you doing? Stop. No, it's not Apple. I knew somebody was going to do it. I knew it. It's okay. I totally do. It was Geffen Records. Yes, Geffen Records was the answer. You can see right there. I think this is the first Geffen record that John did was first. And then there was music left over that John didn't finish before his passing that Yoko had produced and put out on a follow-up album, which was the final album. But this one, I believe, was the last record while he was still alive. And there's some good songs on there, absolutely. It's interesting that the way that he sounds on his solo records, he's always distant and kind of has an echo. Very interesting. That's too easy. Timpsy, and I wanted to make it approachable for everybody. But congratulations, Jeremy. So glad that you won. Hopefully we'll get some of your favorite records in there. It was Geffen. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think he left Apple before. Well, it's still weird because he was an owner of Apple. Like, he owned Apple. They owned Apple. But this was released by, was it David Geffen? And it also says Lennon-O Music. Like, obviously a combination of John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Lennon Geffen. Also, it strikes me that It's really hard for me to wrap my brain around that this John Lennon, who was, 40 in that picture, is only 10 years removed from that John Lennon. That doesn't even look like the same person. Isn't that incredible? I think this picture must be from a lot earlier, because that almost looks, I think that is about a 1970 John. I'm not sure, but it looks like a younger one. But like 1980 John Lennon versus 1969 John Lennon. David Geffen. That's right. I have Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim's awesome too. John's only album on Geffen. The next one came out on Polydor. Oh, interesting. Do I have any Tiny Tim? No, I have like some digital files. Tiptoe Through the Tulips, but I like even more than that one is Sunshine. Something about the Sunshine. It's great music, crazy music, but I love it. Can't wait for the weather to cool down. Yeah, do you get nervous of them being out in the hot? I've gotten Warped Records arrived in the mail before. Absolutely. Do you have any tips on finding Glenn Miller LPs? Mark says. Milk and Honey was the follow-up to this. Yeah, that's right. Again, I'm a baby at this. Forgive me for my errors. Yeah. Tips for finding Glenn Miller. You'll never find them. Somebody else said earlier they found one of the most desirable boxes at a thrift store. Typically, you don't find Glenn Miller at thrift stores. You'll find Benny Goodman. You'll find Artie Shaw, Tommy Dorsey. But for me, in my experience, I don't find like hardly any Glenn Miller at thrift stores. It's rare. Sometimes tributes to Glenn Miller, but not actual Glenn Miller. I found you'll find them at record stores, like vinyl shops and stuff from time to time. You'll find them obviously on eBay. You can find anything on eBay. Keep a lookout for Mercari. If you don't have the Mercari app on your phone, get it. I don't think you have to enter payment information to just have the app and browse, but it's surprisingly full of a lot of music, a lot of stuff. And what's cool is you can put saved searches in there. So if I'm looking for a certain artist or a certain album, I have a search on Mercari, and it notifies me if something is posted by anybody in that category of what I have. So Mercari is a good place to look as well. And antique stores, you'll find sometimes antique stores, something like this, some of these old 78, sometimes you'll find like a box set of Glenn Miller at a thrift store. But when I started getting back into vinyl, thought I wanted. In the end, I ended up liking LPs more than 78s. So I have a fairly modest 78 collection. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun collecting them. I've got, if you want to see the ones I have, check out the video I recently did on it. It's a lot of fun. Geffen was a new label at the time. Probably one of the first albums. Label. Interesting. Next time on live chat, you should have Mrs. Record-ology on live chat. Absolutely. I would love to do that. If I can talk her into coming on, absolutely. I would love to do that. She's been very, very busy on some projects. Absolutely. She's been on before. Tim Allen says Apple was dissolved in 75 and wasn't resurrected until the early 90s. I did read that, but I had forgotten. Thank you. Yes, Living in the Sunlight. That's my favorite Tiny Tim. Having a wonderful time. Haven't got a lot. I don't need a lot. Coffee's only a bore. Living in the sunlight. Loving in the moonlight. Having a wonderful time. It was a vampire movie. The label has Nipper with vampires. Yes, I have the Warped Records. Come home. Yeah, I hate the Warped Records. It does. Interesting fact. Donna Summer's first Geffen release, the Wanderer single, was released with a standard Warner Brothers label of Geffen Records banner. Interesting. Donna Summer takes me back to my childhood because that was one of the songs that was in my mind playing in the background as a kid. There's so much Glenn Miller at the thrift store that I go to. Come on, Tim. This thrift store is starting to piss me off. 20-cent records and they got Glenn Miller at a thrift store? Time for a collab. You and me, road trip to this thrift store. We're going to clean them out. We're not going to leave them with any of this stuff. Good grief. Maybe the 45 box set is even rare. Cher was on Geffen after the disco phase. Yeah, disco era Cher is something else. The video of her with the Jackson 5 doing the robot, you can't unsee that. There's an AI cover. Is it AI cover of SpongeBob? Living in the Sun. These AI songs where they have like Sinatra singing Sir Mix-a-Lot and stuff. It's so weird. It's so weird. Greg, Record-ology next time you should have. Yeah, I agree, Greg. That'd be cool. We'll definitely have her on again. Hank says, video idea. Maybe you could do a tour of all your record players that you have or have reviewed. Boy, that would be fun. Space is the issue. And the fact is that we've reviewed so many hundreds of record players that I don't have all of them anymore. It would be the world's largest record player collection. But yeah, maybe review some of the ones. I always like to talk about the ones I'm using currently. So here at my desk where I work and play, because I do work from home. And so I listen to music while I work. Current record players in use have been kind of the same for a while. PLX 500 by Pioneer. My Technics SLDL1 direct drive linear down here. And then my Technics SLB5 belt-driven stacker over here. For cartridges, I'm running the Gold Prestige 2 by Grado on the SLB5. I'm running an AT, it's an older antique Audio-Technica AT12, what is this thing? I think it's an AT112 EP it's a P mount on the linear. And then I'm running the Black Pearl Sumiko up there. Those are the three I'm running right now. However, the last couple weeks I have been running with this bad boy. Gave it another listen after a couple years of not doing so. It's the OM5E. It's, again, one of those $100-ish cartridges that competes with the Sumiko back there. And I do like the sound. It's definitely colder and harsher than the Grado or the Sumiko. If you like warm tonality, I recommend the Sumiko or the Grado. That being said, it still sounds really good, and I like the form factor. That's what I'm running currently. I've been kind of bouncing between this one on my right-hand side. I've kind of been bouncing between the SLDL1 and the SLBD22 from 1987, which looks really cool. Upstate New York. We're going to make it happen. Tim, we're going to make it happen one of these days. Casablanca Records. I remember that. Very cool label. Upstate New York. Yeah, we got to do that. Oh, wow. Jerry, yes. I would really appreciate that. Beatles Anthology Disc 1. That would be greatly appreciated. I would love that. Thank you so much. My address is in the About tab. And if you go to the About tab, it'll have my mailing box address in there. I would really appreciate that. That'd be great. That's actually the next one that I really wanted to get. So that would be super appreciated because it's got the very first stuff, right? The Quarrymen. It's got the Decca tryout recordings. Foolish Decca. What did they miss out on? How many billions of dollars? Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. Absolutely. Finley says, we have a lot of new and used record stores here. Also a lot of thrift stores, a lot of records. Donna Summer is one of my first crushes, says Weird Spins. I like Donna Summer's music. She just passed away not too long ago, didn't she? Found Frank Chaxfield in his orchestra. South Sea Island Magic from one of there's unfortunately the mono issue from one. Interesting. I haven't heard of that one. Have you heard anything from the Brian Setzer Orchestra? Yes, I love I saw them live. My wife and I went and saw, this was probably 2004, 5-ish. We saw Brian Setzer live's Christmas show. It was so loud. It was at the Paramount Theater downtown Denver. And it was too loud because Paramount Theater isn't a stage theater by design. It was an old 1920s movie house, and they converted into a stage theater. It's one of the shortest front-to-back stages that there is for performing. And the acoustics aren't designed to handle rock and roll decibels. And Brian Setzer is fantastic guitarist. Like Chet Atkins even thought that Brian Setzer was, and he's pretty much the Yoda of guitar playing. Him and Tommy Emmanuel, and they give the gold stamp to Brian Setzer. So yes, I love it. The Dirty Boogie CD, I have that. I've got a few of his albums that I've bought either digitally or on CD or something. Love his stuff. I love it, love it, love it. I love the idea of blending rock and big band. I think it sounds so good. Yes, I've got Vavoom as well and Dirty Boogie. Yeah, exactly. That would be cool on vinyl. That would be really, really cool. I tell everyone that is... Dude, don't be telling me, Tim, that your thrift store is no good. Your thrift store is epic. By the way, we need some more videos from you. Jerry, thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. I've been given a couple of things by viewers for this Beatles journey, like this one of these 8-track tapes. And it means so much because I was like, oh, yeah, this is by my friend. They gave it to me. This is such a huge blessing. You guys are so great. RC Toombs, SLBD22 is my turntable and my stereo system. Bought it brand new. The whole system was stolen in the 90s. Dang it. We were talking about stealing earlier, Beatles music specifically. My dad he was at summer camp or something when he was a kid. And apparently they let some kid spend the night at their house a couple of times to hang out with his brother or something. And this kid stole my dad's entire music collection. So he hasn't had his Beatles album since. I think I had a few of them survived, and I'd inherited them back in the 90s, way before I got into this. And I think I sold them off. And oh man, I wish I hadn't done. I knew I had the White Album. What else did I have? I remember the White Album specifically. I don't know what else. Dang. I wish I had those now. That's why they took the Stones. The one in Dumbledore did. MacArthur Park Slap. I feel like I'm missing something. Sorry, guys. I picked up a mint copy of Supertramp, Crime of the Century. That's cool. 10 years ago. Stray Cats, yes. And you can hear, if you listen to the old Stray Cat stuff, you can hear some of that stuff, like some of it, what it would become the band sound later. Finley says, I found an odd record for my channel. Didn't realize it was a 78. I recorded it anyway and sped it up the video to. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've had some mystery records where I'm like, let's figure it out. And I put it on, like some transcriptions, and like, okay, it doesn't sound right at 33. It doesn't sound right at 45. Let's go to 78. Tim's seen the Brian Setzer Orchestra live 3 times. That's cool. Greg, yes, I agree. We'll see what we can do. Timothy says, I live in South Jersey, and we have what is called the Record Museum, where they have tons of used records and good prices. Is it a store or a legit museum? Because if you're in Jersey, you're near, where's the RCA plant? Camden? Yeah, is that anywhere near Camden? I've not been to Jersey. I've been close, but not quite. Olive soda, anyone? Oh, ew. Why am I doing this to myself? So anyway, that was the Beatles Haul. Very blessed, very thankful. And $30, do you think I did okay? I mean, is that fair for $30? $1 for Double Fantasy. I feel like that's a good deal. This goes into the records that need cleaning. On a completely unrelated note, I pulled out this box set of Bing Sings. It's a Reader's Digest RCA custom pressing. One of these millions of box sets. And I love how specific this one is. Instead of just like crooners, it's like specifically Bing Crosby. And 96 of his greatest pleasure program. I love how they say that. This is a box set. This is more than just an album. This version has all the track listings and all the discs. But then, look at the pictures on there. To my sadness, I realized I picked this up about a year ago and haven't really listened to it. I think it smells like mildew. I think they were water damaged. They might have been in a flood. I hope it was water. And I noticed when I tried to take the record out that it's kind of sticking in there. And I was like, oh gosh, what you really don't want is the paper to come off and to attach itself to the to the record itself. But I noticed this is either mold or mildew or something yucky on these records. Look at that. Looks like mold spots. That really looks like mold. So I haven't had a problem with a lot of moldy records, unfortunately. So we're not going to breathe that too carefully. We're going to spin wash or disc wash these in the whatchamacallit, the spin clean. So those need to get cleaned. The haul that I did on the last live show, if you missed that, check that out. I need to clean those still. And the new John Lennon record. So tomorrow, one of my goals is to carve out a good hour and a half to clean records because it always takes that. That's the only thing I don't like about the spin clean. It cleans better than anything I've ever seen. But it takes so much time. It's very time intensive. So I'll be cleaning all these records tomorrow, getting them sleeved and placed in the bins that are too full. Okay, well, let's wrap it up, guys. Thank you. So this chair has to be sliding down. I swear. Yeah, it's down. Okay, it's supposed to be up here. I really appreciate you guys. We had a big turnout tonight, which is a blast. And we'll get the free records shipped out sometime this week. And you were in the U.S., I think. Yeah, so I will use media mail to send it out in a couple of weeks. So thank you so much to everybody else. We have other giveaways to do. We've got record players that are slated for giveaways. We've got a lot more records to give away, more boxes. Always want to hear from you what you want to be doing as well. Got up on comments here. I want to make sure I don't miss. If I missed your comment, it was a mistake, and I apologize. Speaking of Emergency Square, I found George Harrison, Cloud 9. Okay, I got to check out this George Harrison album. It sounds like it's pretty good. Oh, that's sad. I'm sorry to hear that, Vinland. Zoot Suit Riot. Yes. Yeah, it's fun stuff. It really, really is. Remember the swing craze of the late 90s? I was when I was getting into legit big band, so it was really interesting to see like this like wave of interest in swing music. Squirrel Nut Zippers and stuff like that. Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. That was my favorite of those ones. Yeah, there was a bunch of those. And, man, I'll tell you what. That was really when, what's his name? Brian Setzer with his Dirty Boogie album really timed out his whole thing perfectly. I think I found a 78 demo of a Decca LP. It's a Nutcracker as a dedications. Well, that's cool. Rice Cooker, that's amazing. Keppel Carpets. That's really, really cool. What are your thoughts on ultrasonic cleaning records? I think it's dumb because I can't afford it. I mean, it's vibrating water to clean records, but the results look pretty good. Their layers are expensive. I swear by the vinyl vax, and says Tim Allen. I need to try it out, but I'll tell you what, the spin clean is amazing. I've done so many videos before and after. You'll take a record that looks like what I just showed you, and then by the end of it, in fact, I might do that tomorrow. Maybe I'll post a before and after picture in the community thread. It'll still have the polish on it. It'll look gorgeous. It's amazing, but it's time intensive, and it takes a lot of space. You have to lay out towels. You have to have good cleaning cloths because you have to dry them. Squirrel Nut Zippers, yes. All right, my friends, that is going to do it for tonight. I want to say a sincere thank you to each and every one of you. You guys mean the world to me. I really enjoy this. And as to getting Mrs. Record-ology on the show, I will see what I can do. That would be awesome. I would love that. And you guys are amazing. You guys are great. And you've taught me so much. You're teaching me so much. If you didn't win tonight, don't worry. There's opportunities for giveaways coming your way very, very shortly, as well as other regular episodes and all kinds of fun and surprises. I've got a whole shelf of stuff waiting to be reviewed. That's why I've been kind of cranking out videos more often than usual lately. So definitely check it out. Over 1,200 videos and many lives for you to watch. So much Record-ology out there. So thank you so very, very much. There was a lesser known swing band called Indigo Swing. Yep, I know them as well. Absolutely. Yes, Hank, the pleasure is mine. So thank you guys. God bless you. Have a wonderful Sunday, wonderful Saturday evening and Sunday. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. Happy record hunting. See you next time.